The headlines. CBN raises interest rate to 26.25% amid soaring inflation levels. Troops declined 2 million naira bribe. Nabbed six suspended kidnappers in Taraba. Kano State Assembly resolves to amend Emirs, appoint law. And on the foreign scene, Iranians pay last respect to President Raisi. Hello, welcome to News Update. My name is Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has increased the interest rates by 150 naira basis points from 24.75% to 26.25%. This decision followed a two-day meeting of the bank's Monetary Policy Committee, which agreed to raise the monetary policy rates for the third consecutive time to address soaring inflation, which stood at 33.69% in April 2024. The MPCs of the CBN held its 295th meeting on the 20th and 21st of May 2024 to review recent economic and financial developments and assess risks to the outlook, according to the CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso, who also chairs the MPC. Cardoso noted that the cash reserve ratio for deposit money banks remains at 45%. Acknowledging the rise in inflation, Cardoso emphasized that the key focus of the MPC meeting was to achieve price stability using available tools. He identified food inflation as a significant driver of overall inflation, citing factors such as rising transportation costs, infrastructure challenges, security issues, and exchange rate fluctuations. Meanwhile, troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army Subsector 3 Operation Wellstroke have apprehended 6 suspected kidnappers in separate operations carried out within Taraba State. 2 of the kidnappers were reported to have attempted to bribe them with 2 million naira, acting on the tip-off troops from the 93 Battalion Subsector 33 stationed at Forward Operating Base Wukari, carried out a raid in Chinkai village of Wukari local government area, leading to the apprehension of 2 individuals identified as Usman Gida Ali and Abdurrahman Ahmadu. In a statement, the Acting Assistant Director, 6th Brigade Army Public Relations Lieutenant Oni Olubunde said the suspects have been on the wanted list of security agencies for their involvement in multiple kidnappings in Wukari and its surroundings. In a related operation in Ibi local government area, troops stationed at Sarkin Kudu apprehended 4 more suspected kidnappers, namely Jafaru Banyi, Mohammed Ardo, Ahmadu Lawal Shatta, and Biyu Ardu. The suspects, he said, have been linked to numerous high-profile abductions in the region, targeting both locals and foreigners for ransom, adding that they have long been under the surveillance of security agencies. The FCT Commissioner of Police, Benneth Igwe, has stated that to better secure the FCT in Nigeria, the Nigerian Police Force needs more personnel and advanced technological equipment. He made this remark while answering journalists' questions during an update on the security situation in the FCT.
Like the police is doing recruitment now, they're about doing recruitment, we need more personnel. And the IG is doing everything possible to ensure the recruitment is moving. So, any minute from now, we start our training. We just finished the recruitment, we start our training because we need more manpower. The IG is currently working seriously to ensure a lot of technical equipments are brought into security. We use drones, we use all in order to ensure safety. So we need all those gadgets. It helps us so much, like CCTV cameras, one-to mountains of certain places. All of them are what we are begging that it should be done, so that more safety will be accorded to Abuja as the capital city of Nigeria. Abuja has been very safe, and will continue to remain safe. And we have done everything possible to ensure the safety of Abuja, because we know the terrains of the bandits, we know their routes, we know their modus operandi. So, and that's why we have succeeded in keeping Abuja and making it safe. We We don't care how the armed robbers or the bandits feel, but we are telling them we are dominating everywhere, including the bushes from where they move. Recently, I have brought in, because they used to move with the Bija motorcycle, I have brought in the Bija motorcycle. So I have taken over the mountains. So, and that's why anyhow they enter, we must conquer them. So we have neighbors, very terrible neighbors that are crime prone, from Kaduna to Niger to Nasarawa to Kogi. We are where? We are where our boundaries. So, and that's why what we have done is to ensure the safety of everybody in Abuja. I want to assure and inform every resident that we are still on top of every situation.
Operatives from the Emirs State Police Command Anti-Kidnapping Squad have successfully rescued a pregnant woman and her 4-year-old son from a group of dangerous kidnappers in the state. Trust TV's Ajibade Perez has the details in this report. Moving on, Kano State House of Assembly has resolved to amend the state emir's deposition and appointment law. Majority leader and members representing Dala constituency Hussaini Dala moved the motion during plenary on Tuesday. There have been calls for the reinstatement of the post for Thind Emir Mohammed Sanusi, largely by Kwankwasia supporters in the state, who also want the newly created emirates of Bichi, Gaya, Rano and Karaye dissolved. There are, however, groups opposed to the dissolution of the new emirates. The pro-Simlaye Fubara River State House of Assembly, led by Honorable Okojombo, has invited 8 nominees for screening as commissioners designate. The nominees are meant to fill vacant positions in the cabinet, following the resignation of 5 commissioners loyal to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike. The letter of invitation was signed by GM Gills West, the clerk of the Pro-Fubara House of Assembly. The letter of invitation directed the nominees to come along with them 12 sets of their curriculum vitae and the original and photocopies of their credentials to the hallowed chamber of the Assembly on Tuesday by 10 a.m. for screening. Meanwhile, a former People's Democratic Party PDP member of Anambra State House of Assembly, Honorable George Okoye, has cautioned the party's stakeholders against new mega-party arrangements which will lead the party into extinction. According to him, some of the party stakeholders going into a merger arrangement ahead of the 2027 general election will kill the PDP. He rather stated that the party's current political misfortune is lack of credible leadership and called on the stakeholders to enthrone a leadership that would work for the interests of the party and not those who would rather pursue selfish ambition. He insisted that the PDP is the only opposition party in Nigeria and advised that it must not be allowed to fizzle out because of inordinate ambitions of some of the stakeholders. He said that the party leadership should sit down and restructure the party for better Nigeria rather than jumping into the so-called new mega party. Pensioners and other workers in Nigeria are berating the federal government's plan to borrow the sum of 12 trillion naira from pension fund for infrastructure development in the country. It would be recalled that the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Wale Edun, had on Tuesday last week disclosed that the federal government planned to tap from the locally available funds such as pension and life insurance to develop infrastructure. Ado Musa completes the report.
The pension fund concept is designed to promote long-term financial security and peace of mind for individuals, allowing them to enjoy their retirement years with dignity and comfort. However, the announcement to tap into the savings of pensioners made after a 2-day meeting of the Federal Executive Council presided over by President Bola Tinubu has resulted in condemnation from various quarters. Pensioners and civil servants in Jos, the Plateau State capital, who depend on the pension to continue life after retirement, express total rejection of the plan.
Someone who has worked for the nation for over 30 years, his hope, someone that could not build a house for himself, his hope is the money that he's going to earn at the end of the day. So if this money is borrowed, then what will be his future? So his future is dash.
It's not a good idea. I'm not in support of that.
So they should look for money or try to know, they should look for ways to fund the major projects that they are having in the country.
And I'm not happy on hearing that news. And of course it is wrong. That plan is not in consonance with the initially conceived idea of the contributory pension.
I think for the government to borrow that money is not the best. Because as I am now, I retired a year ago, and up to now there's no news about my benefits. So I think it's bad. They should look for other ways of borrowing money to fund the infrastructure.
Some Nigerians also expressed their views over the government's plan to borrow the money.
I will just ask Nigeria a question. The ones they have borrowed, what have they done with it? We only hear they borrowed money, but what they did with the money, we don't know. So I am not in support of them.
From my layman's position, that I want to suggest that government should back out from that plan, because it may not be invisible in the sense that at the end of the day, some workers will benefit from the agenda. Some may not benefit. It may not go around. Some will not benefit. So I'm of the view that government should back up.
The issue of federal government going to borrow the pensioners fund is completely out of place. If we are looking at many retirees have died without accessing their money. Some of them cannot even afford to feed their families, and this money is kept in the bank. That means that the federal government is aware of the disaster they are setting up. Where will they go? And there are other means of getting money to finance that project.
It is common knowledge in Nigeria that pensioners struggle to access their savings, with many reportedly dying while waiting to receive their pensions. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Meanwhile, students in federal government-owned tertiary institution will be the first batch of beneficiaries of the student loan scheme as the portal opens on Friday. Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Akintunde Sawyer, stated this on Monday, while unfolding the conditions will be required to meet. No fewer than 1.2 million students are expected to benefit from the Cardinal program of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. President Tinubu on April 3rd signed into law the bill on the scheme, in line with his electoral promise that no Nigerian students will drop out of school on account of lack of funds. The ambitious Cardinal program will be funded with 1% of the total annual collectible revenue by the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Meanwhile, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has warned federal government to fulfill on its demands earlier agreed upon or face another strike action in the country. The union officials and members of ASU, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, gave a warning during a peaceful protest demanding the federal government to fulfill 8 of demands to improve the working conditions of their members on Tuesday in Bauchi. Speaking with journalists during the protest, Vice Chairperson of ASU, Mohammed, said the union has on negotiation with the government for over 15 years and reached agreement on 8 issues, but the government failed to fulfill its part. The protesters, holding various placards with inscriptions like "Government, avoid another strike," "Release our withheld salaries," "Pay our promotion arrears," "Pay earned academic allowance," amongst other inscriptions. This is news updates coming to Trust TV. Coming up, CBN raises Nigerians divided over non-implementation of death penalty by government. More news when we return. Do stay. Yeah, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news update coming to you from Trust TV. Let's take a quick look at our top stories again. CBN raises interest rate to 26.25% amid soaring inflation levels. Troops declined 2 million naira bribe, nab 6 suspected kidnappers in Taraba. Now moving on, Lagos State Government has sealed over 840 event centers and social facilities for safety violations and non-compliance with extant laws. The Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, which revealed this, also noted that safety officers from the State Emergency and Fire Rescue Agency successfully rescued 376 victims, preserving properties estimated at 152.22 billion naira. The ministry noted that its decision to seal the event centers was to mitigate risk and protect the lives and property of the government and citizens. Speaking during a ministerial press briefing at the Baguda Kaloth Press Center on Monday, the Commissioner Benga Oyerinde said the Lagos State Safety Commission carried out enforcement actions at 840 facilities, including event centers, clubs, lounges and hotels and construction sites for safety infractions in the interest of public safety in the last year. Benue State residents have blamed the rising cases of child abuse on ignorance and lack of adequate awareness on the dangers of the act. Reacting to cases of kids, especially minors, roaming the streets in the metropolis, after leaving their villages, residents are saying that such children are being molested, sexually abused, or forced into child labor and prostitution. Jimmy Azande reports.
These kids are mostly from remote villages who leave their biological parents, with or sometimes without their approvals, to the city center, while some are unaccompanied minors roaming the streets of Makudi and other urban settlements, searching for survival means. However, this is now drawing widespread condemnation from members of the public who say child labor, hawking, prostitution and rape, which most of the children are exposed to, spell doom for their future.
Actually, I don't believe in the idea of sending my child out there in the city for someone to be trained on my behalf. That is why I always encourage parents to give birth to a certain number of children that they can take care of. Taking care of your child doesn't necessarily mean you have all the finances in the world. As a parent, you just need to be with your child, support him financially, physically, and psychologically. There are some people that don't necessarily support children in this way. Sometimes when you send your child out there, your so-called relative might turn the child into a street hawker, and then you staying in the village might feel that my child is in a safe hand. But in the actual sense, your child will be suffering out there.
They are lured to the city because of poverty and the ignorance of their parents, who many times are deceived into thinking that they will have a better life through education for the kids.
The reason why most people send their children to the big brothers in town, as some may call it, is one, because of financial imbalances, that they cannot take care of those children on their own, and so they always feel it is a kind of help from those people. In most cases, these people came in a deceptive form. They present the situation in a way that one would be interested.
Stakeholders are urging parents to reconsider the plight of the kids who have been left unchecked for too long.
Those children to have the right to be in school, and those children who are hawking out there are exposed to so many dangers, especially I would say even sexual harassment, because these days you find children being abused sexually.
The absence of basic infrastructure in the villages, experts say, is a major reason for rural to urban migration in the state. They urge governments at all levels to provide basic amenities at local levels in order to save children from abuses. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Residents of Kabala West in Kaduna South local government complete the road project start. The residents say the dust they inhale from abandoned road project is posing a health threat to residents of the area. Trust TV's Bello Musa reports.
According to the residents, the abandoned road project started 4 years ago by the previous administration. The work was abruptly stopped at the early stage of the project. This dust is the concern of the people in the area, which they reveal is posing threat to their health.
You see, even in our houses now, if you go to our house, even inside the bedroom, dust everywhere. It's not good. Our children are suffering it.
You don't expect people to be inhaling this dust over and over and over, especially the old people and those who have some form of illness.
I'm a keke driver. Look at my keke there. I can't walk 8 hours because of this dust and damage of the keke. Because if I walk frequently, my keke will damage even me, my health.
Car is too much for us. This dust is too much for me and my children. Everybody in Kabala here.
I'm having sore throat for more than how many times now because of this dust. Since I came back from school, from cough, catarrh, and if I'm coughing, so you'll be hearing dust.
They have hopes that the present government in the state will speed up the completion of the project.
So we're pleading to the government, at least they should come to our rescue. We're part of the government, so definitely they should come to our rescue and do something.
We appeal to them. They should not, even if they want to play politics, it's not with people's lives. They should come and help the poor people.
We are just begging the governor. They should just please, they should just pity us. Not even because of us, but because of the little children. They cannot play outside. Even though there is heat, we cannot sit down outside and receive fresh air.
We are appealing to the government to come to our aid and complete the road. We are law-abiding citizens. Meanwhile, the Kaduna State Governor Obasani during a town hall meeting lamented that his debt, inherited from his predecessor, is making it difficult for the government to carry out projects. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
And now to the foreign scene. Tens of thousands of Iranians gathered Tuesday to mourn President Ibrahim Raisi's and 7 members of his entourage who were killed in a helicopter crash on a fog-shrouded mountainside in the northwest. Waving Iranian flags and portraits of the late president, mourners set off from a central square in the northwestern city of Tabriz, where Raisi was headed when his helicopter crashed on Sunday. They walked behind a lorry carrying the coffins of Raisi and his 7 aides. Condolence messages floated in from Iran's allies around the region, including the Syrian government, Palestinian militant group Hamas, and Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. Raisi succeeded the moderate Hassan Rouhani at a time when the economy was battered by U.S. sanctions imposed over Iran's nuclear activities.
روز روز امتحان آخر الزمانیه جنگ جنگ اعتقاد جنگ جهانیه روزگار فتنه های دجال علیه سید.
And now in sports, for the second consecutive year, the World Table Tennis Contender will be taking place in Lagos, with Nigerian international Aruna Quadri headlining the players that will participate in the competition. According to the statement from the organizers, Quadri is slated to make his first Contender Series appearances on home soil next month in Lagos. Another notable Nigerian player in the men's single is world number 96 Omotayo Olajide, who also just secured a place at the Paris Olympics. In the female category, Edem Offiong, Fatima Bello, Hope Udoka, and Ajoke Ojomo are top Nigerian stars in the category. At least 28 Nigerians will be in the contention for the $80,000 prize money placed on the tournament. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Super Eagles forward Taiwo Awoniyi has heaped praises on his club Nottingham Forest for surviving the drop. Despite the rough stats, the Red have managed to maintain their top flight status for the second consecutive season. Awoniyi played an active role in avoiding relegation last season, but this season is a bit different as an injury hampered his progress with the team. Awoniyi scored 6 goals and has 3 assists in 20 appearances. With that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentaries. I am Lilian Ogazi. Thanks for watching and bye for now.